This community in Kenya just got clean water for the very first time. Less than 2 hours ago, the nearest source of water for the 600 students at this school and the entire surrounding community was a contaminated river. Not only was the water unclean and dangerous to drink, it was also a 2-mile walk each way from their homes. 4 miles every day to get a basic need that I can receive at any given moment by simply turning on a faucet at home.
One of the crisis situations in our world that we live in today is lack of access to clean drinking water. Hundreds of thousands of people die every year because of dirty water.
Our dear friends at Hydrating Humanity have been working for 20 years to address this crisis.
There are over 700 million people on the planet that don't have clean water to drink. In fact, they're drinking dirty water and it's killing them. So Hydrating Humanity exists to address that crisis and address that need. So we provide clean drinking water as well as hygiene education.
After years of partnership, we got the opportunity to take a Cageless Birds team to Kenya to see the work of this mission and visit the wells we have helped find. One of the goals of our trip was to bring awareness to the beautiful work that Hydrating Humanity is doing by capturing 2 music videos. The first video we wanted to record was a song of mine called Just One Drop that I wrote in my early 20s for a Hydrating Humanity benefit album. Nearly 20 years later, proceeds from Just One Drop have helped to fund wells across the nations of Kenya and Tanzania. The second music video we wanted to record was a song that me and the guys wrote specifically for this trip called Come Let Us Go. We arranged much of the song around a joyful guitar melody that Jake wrote years before, which was inspired by an album of African guitar music he had been listening to. Our hope was that the rhythm and the melody of this song would honor and speak to the hearts of the people that we were about to visit. So on February 18th, 2023, with Matt as our guide, I set off with Chris Miller, Jake Stevens, Joel Case, JD Gravitt, and my son Cadence. I've walked closely with these men for more than a decade as a vital part of the Cageless Birds community.
We made it to Paris, boarding our flight to Nairobi now. Made it, Chris.
We made it, bro. 26 hours.
On day 1, we embarked on an 8-hour cross-country drive to reach Migori County and the Hydrating Humanity base. We were led by Pat Selvey, who lives in Kenya full-time with his wife Grace, as they train local Kenyan staff to be water technicians, social workers, and hygiene educators.
Hello. Hello, my friend.
How are you?
Morning.
Morning.
These 23 Kenyan men and women ensure that not only are the wells dug properly, but also that each community receives hygiene education.
If we just give clean water, it increases the health by about 15%. But if we add hygiene education to that, it increases the overall health of the village by 75%.
This team's passion immediately impacted us. Each one of them carries the vision to see all of Africa gain access to clean water.
We are committed to providing clean drinking water, hygiene education wherever we go, but also the love of Jesus, because we want these people to know that they are loved. We want them to be healthy and have clean water and the living water.
After a powerful morning of getting to pray over their team and bless the work, we set out to visit one of the wells that we helped fund. We arrived on site as the Hydrating Humanity team was installing the pump on this 450-foot deep well. We had the privilege of jumping in to help.
600 kids about to drink this water.
The entire school surrounded us as we began pumping up water to the surface. And I'll never forget this moment as I'm standing there with this crowd around us. I lock eyes with this little boy. And I start thinking about how much I love my own son. And as a father, how I would pay any price or do anything to make sure my son has a safe life. And as I was looking at that little boy, I thought, if we dug this whole well just for him, it would have all been worth it. That moment completely changed me, and it gave me a whole new perspective to what Jesus was saying when he spoke the words, "I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. Whatever you did for these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." The next day, a call came in from the team who had been operating the truck-mounted drill rig nicknamed Hal. They had just hit a large underground water reservoir that was producing 5 gallons of water per minute. We arrived at the site where the drill team had struck water and were overcome with the sheer excitement of seeing fresh water erupting from the earth. Standing in the shadow of this massive drill rig gave us context for how much work goes into the process of digging wells in this part of Kenya.
Underneath the feet of nearly every single person on the planet is clean drinking water. We just don't have access to it. And where we work in Africa, it's hard to get to because it's really rocky. And so we have a drill rig with a hammer drill attachment to it that can break through that rock and go down to 600 feet to access this clean drinking water. And the teams that work the drill rig, they stay with it day and night for up to 2 weeks until the project is finished.
Not only does the team have to drill hundreds of feet into the ground, they also have to drill through solid granite, one of the hardest forms of rock to work with.
It's just hard granite. In other words, they're at the very bottom. Because there's no underground lakes, it's just honeycombs and cracks. God put a ton of water underground and it's under pressure. So it's always moving around the planet and we can drill in and access that. And because it's in the ground, it stays clean. There's not any oxygen down there, bacteria can't grow. It's just amazing. I mean, God made this world for us.
Later in the week, with the life-changing impact of hydrating humanity fresh on our minds and in our hearts, we set out to capture the first music video. On the morning that we were preparing to capture our first video, we were introduced to Daniel, a young Kenyan worship leader. From the moment that we met Daniel, everyone in our team's hearts leapt. We felt so instantly connected with him. We said, "Daniel, come sing with us as we're rehearsing this song." There was something in the purity of his voice and his heart that it made this 20-year-old song like brand new again. As we're singing, I had this idea. I threw out this melody to Daniel. I said, "What would you sing in Swahili?" And he came up with this phrase that he started singing in his own language. It was like the sound of Kenya and the sound that had been in our hearts for 20 years came together.
Just one drop, and everything will change.
We literally finished the arrangement of the song like minutes before we needed to get around the well and begin filming.
Of your face is all I can dream of. Just one moment of your favor is so much greater. You are the one who was. You are the one who is. You are the one who will always love. Where Wendy, you are the one who was. Where Wendy, you are the one who is. Where Wendy, you are the one who will always love. Where Wendy, you are the one who was. Where Wendy, you are the one who is. Where Wendy, you are the one who will always love.
The next day, we set off to capture our second music video for the song we wrote specifically for the trip. From the first moment that we wrote this song, I'd been dreaming about a choir of Kenyan students singing with us.
Okay, so when we do the song, Chris will sing it 2 times, just Chris. And then you guys will sing it 4 times with Chris, okay?
In response to our initial dream for the song, Pat organized over 100 students from the school next to the Hydrating Humanity base to sing with us on the video. So much of our heart in writing Come Let Us Go had been to capture a joyful sound and communicate the honor we felt for God's people in Kenya. When these students lifted up their voices and started singing that chorus, Come Let Us Go, it was like crazy tangible joy.
Let us go into the house of the Lord. Come let us go. Come let us go. Come let us go into the house of the Lord. In your house, my heart has found a home. In your house, I'll never be alone. Come let us go. Come let us go. Come let us go into the house of the Lord.
To close our trip, we had the privilege of hosting a worship night for the entire school.
Hydrating Humanity 500th well supplies water to this school. So we're going to sing a few new songs that America's never heard. Kenya gets to hear them first. This is kind of fun too. I just got this guitar a couple weeks ago. This will be my last time playing this guitar. I'm leaving it for one of the worship leaders here in Kenya.
We're going to sing a lot tonight. Do you guys like to sing? I felt God say to me, I want you to leave this guitar in Kenya. So tonight, I'm going to give this guitar to Daniel. He is a son in whom the Father in heaven is well pleased.
We launched into Come Let Us Go, our final song for the evening. And when Jake began playing the guitar melody, the students went wild. At the end of the worship night, so many people came up to us and said, the way that Jake is playing guitar is the same way our guitarists play. We were so surprised by this, we showed them the album that inspired Jake's guitar melody. And as soon as we showed them the album cover, they instantly responded, oh my gosh, that's our favorite guitar player. He's playing a style of music that's from this very region, and it's called Benga music. We were completely astonished that the song we had written to honor the work of Hydrating Humanity had been inspired by a genre of music that was from the very county that they've been digging wells in for the last 2 decades. Without us even knowing it, God had woven together our hearts with this region long before we ever set foot on Kenyan soil. I'll never forget this testimony that Matt told us one day as we were making a drive across Kenya about one of the wells that they had dug. There was this village where every man, woman, and child in the village was very, very sick. They were given news from a doctor that they were all infected with HIV.
And we tested the water that they were drinking, and it was full of parasites and disease. They actually initially refused our help, saying we're all going to die anyway. But we pressed through and provided clean drinking water for them. And it wasn't long, just a few months after that, this whole situation began to change.
All of a sudden, everyone becomes healthy again. They're retested and they find out that no one was actually ever infected with HIV.
They were just sick from the water.
From that one well, everyone gets their life back. Their future completely changes just because they get clean water. This is just one story from one well that Hydrating Humanity has dug. There are now over 1,100 Hydrating Humanity wells that impact more than 500,000 people across Eastern Africa. But there are still millions of people who lack access to clean water across the world. Throughout our journey, Matt pointed out countless locations in need of clean water. The trip was a paradox of emotions. There was so much joy in seeing these wells that are changing so many lives. And then it was completely overwhelming to see how vast this crisis truly is. Researchers say that 1 in 4 people globally lack access to clean water, something that is so easy to take for granted. When I hear these numbers, I feel passion and anger that these stats are still true, and yet I'm filled with hope because of the incredible work the Hydrating Humanity team is doing to change this reality. After making this trip to Kenya, this devastating fact is more than just numbers on a page for me. It's real people with a real need, a need that can be met. We can do something to change this story. We can do something about 1 in 4 people not having access to this basic human need. There's an ancient prophecy that says the earth will be filled with the glory of the Lord like the water covers the sea. May these be the days this promise is fulfilled, where every nation on earth and every precious life in this world is given access to clean water.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Seeing Jonathan, Cadence, and our team come back from Kenya so deeply impacted has been a profound experience for me and our entire ministry. After 20 years of supporting Hydrating Humanity, we finally got the privilege of going to Africa and being on the ground to get to immerse ourselves into their team and to get to see the wells and the children and all the wonderful Kenyan people was just a crazy privilege for us. It is one thing to give to a cause, but it's another thing to be a part of an initiative that is full of integrity. And Hydrating Humanity is one of those initiatives. And as worship leaders, it's been very important to us to be a part of something that we really believe in. And that we know when we're raising money and doing these worship nights and giving part of our Cageless Birds sales to something that is going to something that is full of integrity. And that has been one of the greatest honors for us for the last 20 years, is just knowing that we are a part of something that we can put our whole hearts into.
Absolutely, yeah. I'll never forget, we were in our early 20s, and Matt Peterson shared for the first time the vision of Hydrating Humanity and the need. And something inside of both of our hearts leapt, like we want to be a part of this. we want to do something to help. We wrote that first song for that first album to help dig wells, and from that first moment, we're just like, we want to be a part of this. And 20 years later, now to have gone, to been on the ground, to be with Matt there, to get to pump water out of the wells for the first time, and to see the faces and the lives that are being affected, we're going to be a part of this for the rest of our life. When we were there in Kenya, we got to go to the 1,000th Hydrating Humanity well and pump the first few drops of that water. And I remember being so grateful, thinking like, after 20 years, 1,000 wells have been dug. But I also remember thinking, we need thousands and thousands and thousands of more wells in Kenya and Tanzania, all across Eastern Africa. And the passion behind what you just watched is to extend the invitation to be a part of this beautiful mission. Any money that you give will go to bring clean water. Every time that we've given, from the worship nights to the 5% of the sales that we've taken from Cageless Birds to sow into Hydrating Humanity, as soon as we give, it's so quickly we'll get back an email with GPS coordinates and photos of those wells. And it just, what it does to give to something and to see the results so quickly, every time I'm like, I love being a part of this mission, and we want to invite you to be a part of this. You can go to hydratinghumanity.org to learn more and to partner with them. You can click on any of the links in our description to find out more. Please share this video with your friends and your family. We want to see this water crisis eradicated. Thank you so much for watching.